Good afternoon. For those of you who've been here before, I'm used to saying good morning because we start a full day conference. This year, there was another event for faith-based organizations going on in the morning, so we started a little bit later, but we're going to try to get everything in. On behalf of the religious law advisors at Capell, Barnett, Matalon, and Schoenfeld, I welcome you to our 2024 Interchurch Center Conference. It's my pleasure to introduce our co-host, Paula Mayo, who's the president and executive director of the Interchurch Center, where she's been since 2008, and more importantly, where she is happily retiring from in 2 months. And just a quick note on how this conference, which has gone on for every year since 2014, except during COVID, started was I met Paula in, I think, 2013. And we were chatting about, what resources we could provide and jointly work on to help congregations of all faiths expand, support their mission and ministry. And, we thought through and said, well, we need more education, more availability to education because, quite frankly, pastors are having to fill in more hats now than they used to. Lay folks have to be more aware of a lot of the changing laws and regulations that affect them. So we had this idea of setting up a conference on it here at the Interchurch Center. And immediately Paula says, well, let's pick a date. So we picked a date. And then I walked out and said, oh my gosh, I have to actually we have to do a conference now. Having never done that before, but we put together our first conference back in 2014, and you've been an invaluable partner to me and to my firm and to all the folks who benefit from your work here at the Interchurch Center. So, Paula.
Awesome. I don't have fancy stuff, I just have paper. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much, Renato, for that wonderful introduction. As he said, my name is Paula Mayo. I have the honor of representing the 75 tenant agencies and their 2,000 employees who call this big edifice, the Interchurch Center, their home. The agencies in this building represent nonprofit, educational, social service, and religious organizations which are local and national in reach. In fact, yesterday's arts section of the New York Times recognized one of our tenant agencies, Commonweal Magazine, which started in 1924, is celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. And Commonweal describes itself as the nation's oldest lay-edited Catholic journal of opinion, which is quite a lot to say and is something that is very, very necessary. So we congratulate them and extend the congratulations to them in their centennial year, which is absolutely wonderful. And Commonweal Magazine has been a tenant of this building since the 1990s. An entity like the Interchurch Center, or the God Box, as we are sometimes called, wouldn't be possible without guidance, vision, leadership, and the planning of many, many individuals. Individuals with foresight and drive to develop a thriving religious and cultural mecca, and organizations which strive so hard to practice what they preach. It is that spirit which brings all of you here today. Strategies on successfully running your religious organization. That's a very apt title for this year's conference. Celebrating its 9th year, this conference was the long-held dream of Howard Capell, a founding partner of Capell, Barnett, Matalon, and Schoenfeld. And Howard, if any of you knew him, was an avid traveler and a champion of all organizations which hold the words faith in their missions and in their hearts. I met Howard in 2008 when he was a trustee of the Interchurch Center, and I was the newly hired executive director. And during a long lunch, Howard described the work that he did and spoke passionately about the work that means the most to him. He spoke about the need to support and encourage and lift up the work of faith-based organizations and nonprofits. He always said that these people do so much for so many with very little reward. Anything I can do to help them is a personal blessing to me. Although Howard is no longer with us, I know in spirit he is present today. Howard was very fortunate to be able to pass the torch to someone who understood the pitfalls faced by nonprofits and religious organizations, and someone who shared his vision. And he found that person in Renato Matos. And Renato has been a steadfast champion of this conference and the Interchurch Center since we decided to do this. And on behalf of our board and tenant agencies, I would like to extend our congratulations to Renato for his inclusion in City and State's inaugural 2024 Trailblazers in Law list of legal professionals pioneering change and innovation. So congratulations. In closing, I would like to say it is really gratifying that attorneys like Renato, and indeed that entire firm, continue to provide the guidance and sound legal strategies to the religious and nonprofit communities in this city. And the Interchurch Center is very, very proud to have been a small part of this mission and to always be involved in programs like this. Thank you all so much for being here today, and thank you for your attention.